Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we are. Super Bowl Sunday. I'm ready to go. Dave, are you pumped or what, buddy?
I'm excited, Brett. It's the biggest day in sports every year. It's the Super Bowl. There's only one of them. It's the biggest game in the history of Western civilization, at least until they play another one this time again next year, and that'll be the biggest game. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I think we've got a good matchup here. I'm excited about the game. We've had a good postseason. I just hope we close with a really great game, right, Steve?
That's right, guys. Everybody watches this game, all across the states. It's exciting. Men, women, children, everybody. They want to watch the commercials, the halftime show, the game. It's exciting, guys. I want to watch the game more than anything.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Steve. I think at halftime I'm going to go get some food. So
you don't want to hear Bad Bunny. Yeah, there's some Bad Bunny, I guess.
Well, hopefully I'm going to go have some good stew as opposed to some Bad Bunny.
Some stew.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said, guys. We're going to get ready for our first topic, first item of business, and we're going to focus here on the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. He resigned here this past week, and we'll get some thoughts on that. We will turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, our old buddy Schwartz, he took, he's going to resign. Maybe we can trade him and get something in return, but obviously we wanted a better outcome there, and it didn't happen. So, Dave, give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Brent, I mean, I don't know if this comes as a major surprise to anyone. Jim Schwartz resigned as defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. Team announced Schwartz. I didn't realize Schwartz was 59. I actually thought he was a little bit younger than that. So he's basically the same age as Munkin. He was one of the coaching finalists to replace Kevin Stefanski. Schwartz, just overviewed, became the defensive coordinator ahead of the 23 season and was under contract through 2026. This past season, Schwartz defense ranked fourth in the NFL in total yards allowed, giving up 283.6 yards per game. Schwartz was passed over for the head coaching job, obviously in favor of Todd Monken, and is now likely to sit out the 2026 season and possibly the 2027 season. We're going to get into that here in just a second. This marked the second time he was passed over for the Browns head coaching job. He also came up short in the 2020 cycle, which ended with the hiring of Kevin Stefanski. Overall, this was my choice of the current candidates who actually wanted the job. Just a few thoughts. He led one of the best defenses in the NFL for the past 3 years, so he did his job and did it well. He has the head coaching experience, having coached the Detroit Lions. I know he had some struggles there, although he did lead them to the playoffs in 2011. But from 2009 to 2013, Schwartz went 29-51. He had since served on the staff of the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles, actually was the D coordinator of the Eagles' 2017 Super Bowl team, and was also on the Titans staff, and then most recently here with the Browns. Guys, I would also add the players really love playing for this guy. And I quote from the Browns' best player, Myles Garrett, "I love Jim, and I love playing for him." I think that says a lot. The future for Schwartz is interesting. He cannot coach anywhere else, Brent, I believe, for the next 2 seasons because the Browns hold his rights. I think if I'm hearing that correctly.
Yeah, that is correct. They hold his rights. I believe that he can get if he gets an elevated job, then that obviously was a different scenario. Then he can leave. But what I'm hearing is, and I think Steve will talk more about this as well, is that the trade situation looks like that's the most likely, because it's not that, trust me, I'm sure the Browns wouldn't mind, like, hey, nobody gets Schwartz, but I think the Browns wouldn't mind getting something in return for Schwartz.
Yeah.
And I think that would probably be the best outcome at this point. You know what I mean? So go ahead, Dave, continue.
Yeah, with 2 years remaining on his contract, Schwartz will likely have to stay out of the NFL until that deal with Cleveland expires. If not, the team would elect to trade draft picks to the Browns, who retain their rights over the next 2 seasons. For example, Schwartz sits out the 2026, but decides that he wants to become a defensive coordinator or a head coach. The team interested in hiring would have to make a trade with the Browns to secure his services. And this is per Sports Illustrated. Guys, thoughts? Steve, Schwartz coaching in either 26 or 27. Do you see it? And then Brent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dave, I don't see him coaching in 26. I think he will sit out the year. Unless the team isn't bad enough, I could see him coming in 27. But a team would have to trade a pick to the Browns. The Browns are firm on that. It's what they're going to do. But Schwartz might be worth it. I mean, he's one of the top defensive coordinators in the whole league. You've seen especially what he did in Philadelphia, what he's done for us, what he did in Tennessee. I mean, the guy's a great coordinator. It's too bad that we just couldn't keep him. He got his feelings hurt. Because I don't think he's going to get another head coaching gig, Dave. I just don't see it. But I do see many teams. I see many teams interested in his services as defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but Brett, you have a thought?
Yeah, I think Steve might be right. I think another reason why Steve might be right, he's just not going to coach this year, isn't because of him. It's just because a lot of the staffs for all these teams, they're kind of filled for the next year. So, so there's some of that. Unless, the other thing I thought of, he might be able to get into maybe if Kubiak gets hired. Actually, is there any hope?
The Raiders are interested in the Raiders are interested in Schwartz. Right after the Super Bowl, a day or two later, Kubiak will become the Raiders head coach.
That's right. So
they want Schwartz to be their defensive coordinator, but they'd have to make a trade. I don't know if they want to do that.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, the Raiders would have clear upgrades with Clint Kubiak calling an offense and Jim Schwartz calling a defense. Those are two pretty sharp minds on both sides of the ball, by the way. Just a thought on that.
I think Steve nailed it. A Raiders angle would be for next year. If not, he's sitting it out, and then maybe he's in some trade talks for next year. I think it's going to go down probably either one of those scenarios. So me personally about this Jim Schwartz thing, I don't want him. And here's the bottom line. I did want him at first, but then after more thought, him and Munkin, there's saltiness there, both of them. I hate to say this, guys. They kind of get a little. They both got a little bit of a gruff personality, and that gruffness. I don't want two guys in the same room like that, and also the split locker room scenario. Oh, this part of the team likes Schwartz. Oh, this part of the team likes Munkin. No, I don't want to see it. So
that could happen, Brent. That could happen.
I don't want Schwartz just for that reason, because I just don't. I don't feel like, and also too, if he would have handled it a little bit differently, then I think it could have worked. But I also think the Browns might be at fault here a little bit, guys, because they might have let him on. So
I agree. Couple final thoughts here, Brent. I would add the Browns did let OC Tommy Reese out of his contract to join the Stefanski staff in Atlanta. So there is precedent here. It'll be interesting to see who Monken looks to replace him. The internal candidates I'm hearing are linebacker coach Jason Tarver and safeties coach Ephraim Banda. The external candidates I'm hearing are Texans DB coach Dino Vasso and defensive pass game coordinator Corey Undlin. Vasso was noted as a possible option by NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, while Undlin was mentioned by both Monday morning quarterbacks Albert Breer and Rappaport. Final thoughts. The Schwartz hire was one of the best of the Haslam era. That is not saying a whole lot, by the way. That's kind of like being named valedictorian at summer school. He brought an aggressive style with his Y9 scheme on the D-line and his aggressive man coverage in the secondary. It'll be interesting to see how much the new DC keeps or deviates from those approaches. This will be an interesting hire for Munkin. His new DC will have a lot to live up to. The good news is they still have talent. Obviously, Myles Garrett, the defensive player of the year, not to mention Denzel Ward at corner. We agree that Carson Schlesinger is going to be a star at linebacker. So you've got real talent at all levels of this defense. It'll be interesting to see if the new DC can keep up the standard of producing these top five defenses, especially with an offense that's a work in progress. I just want to say I thank Jim Schwartz, and I do want to wish him the best of luck. As far as the Browns are concerned, Brent, it's time to find another coach.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we will turn to Mr. Steve Retzer, Steve's buddy, Jim Schwartz. I know Steve Retzer, he wanted Jim Schwartz before Jim Schwartz even landed in Cleveland.
I did, Brent.
I think he even predicted it.
You called this, Steve?
I did. So me and Brent were texting each other, and we're like, who looks to be a good defensive coordinator back on before 23? And we were talking names, and I go, how about Jim Schwartz? And Brent goes, that would be excellent. I'm not kidding you. We do. We had this in a text chain, me and Brent. And what I did is I Googled, I did some research, and I thought, man, he's a great candidate. He was coming out of Tennessee. He had some health issues before, but he got that all under control. So I knew he was coming. One thing for sure that I would have liked to seen those, I thought Stefanski had the offense so bad. I would have liked seeing Jim Schwartz as the interim head coach. That would have given him a sample size.
Yeah.
He would have been with Shador. Let Tommy Reese call those plays. So now we got led on. You see what I'm saying, Brent? If I just thought about that. If he could have been the interim coach for even 3 or 4 games, I think that would have been a nice sample size. And then you could have seen, okay, are we going to keep him for next season? Then I think he would have understood too. Well, you were a head coach. We have another head coach we want to hire, but we still want you as assistant head coach and defensive coordinator. That might have worked out a little bit better, guys.
Steve, just a thought on that. I believe they did that with Greg Williams in 2018.
Yes.
Hugo. But remember, at the end of the season, they did not go with Greg Williams. They went with Larry the Cable Guy, which all but ruined the 2019 Browns, which was a waste of talent on that team. And that should have been.
Maybe they didn't want to do that, Dave. That is true, because me and my dad were big Greg Williams fan, and he was defensive like Schwartz, and I wanted him to stay head coach. He was the interim coach, and then Larry the Cable Guy if you would have kept him at offensive coordinator, it was clicking, it was working. He had Baker making good plays. Williams was a good leader. Maybe they didn't want to do that with Schwartz. I just thought Stefanski was that bad that they could have let him go sooner and let Schwartz take that over.
Guys, I'm going to add something to this before we move on here.
Sure.
I feel like Williams is in the same camp as Schwartz. Both of those guys, man, they're leaders of men. They can get the best out of their team. Are they the perfect coach? No, but I also don't think they're highly liked by NFL brass. No, neither one of those guys are well liked with the brass, and I hate to say it.
They don't have the Stefanski look. They don't dress right. They
corporate
things all the time.
Corporate.
Yeah.
It's corporate versus football guys. I like John Dorsey. I like Greg Williams.
Exactly.
It's not. I like Jim Schwartz. But the NFL,
but how does this explain Dan Campbell? How does this explain, obviously, the guy we're going to see today, Mike Vrabel? How does this explain?
Well,
okay.
They fit that personality. Both of those guys are well liked. And Mike Vrabel has got a ton of respect. He was the coach at Tennessee, got him to a championship.
True. Yeah.
And don't forget, he's got Robert Kraft's backing, so it is way different.
But somebody had to take a chance on that guy, though, to begin with, because he didn't have a lot of head coaching experience before he took the Titans job. You know what I mean?
I'm just telling you guys what I heard. I heard Greg Williams. I heard his rep went in the toilet with that Saints bounty gate thing, and then I think Schwartz has lost his fastball as well.
Okay.
He's a DC guy, but nobody thinks of him. Again, completely wrong, guys. By the way, I like both those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you, I don't think the NFL brass likes him at the top. They don't want to be the top guy. What are you gonna say, Steve?
Oh yeah. Well, anyhow, let me get into it. Jim Schwartz, he had 2 years remaining on his contract with the Browns, as we said. He was upset he wasn't hired for head coach, and I do think he will be sitting out for the season because Schwartz resigned rather than being fired. The Browns hold his rights for these remaining 2 years of the contract. It looks like they're not going to allow him to walk away and join another team, of course, unless we said, unless there's a trade. And it's too bad. I mean, it's getting ugly. Schwartz was led on by the Browns, like you just said, Brent. They wanted him to stay as defensive coordinator, but he was hurt. He doesn't want to do it.
The bridge was burned. The bridge was burned, Steve. Come on.
Yeah, it's true. And like you said, Dave, the Browns allowed Tommy Reese out of his contract to join Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And they let Bubba Ventrone get hired, with the Rams for special teams.
No loss there, Steve.
I know. Bye, Bubba. We love you as a special teams player, but not as a coach. That's for sure. So long. Go to LA. We'll see you. They didn't want to do that with Schwartz, though, guys. It's too bad because Schwartz, of course, like you guys said, is loved by Browns players, but I understand why he won't come back. The Browns could end up getting draft picks for him. because it'll be tough for teams to pass him up as a defensive coordinator. He's one of the best in the business, as we know. He may be worth a quick pick to another team. Like we said, the Raiders are interested, but it won't be easy. I hear that the Eagles may want him back again, and they're known to the Eagles. Well, especially when they go to a Super Bowl, they're known to lose their coordinators real fast. So Schwartz could go back to the Eagles because he really liked it there. He had a lot of success there.
Yeah, I heard Paisano might retire there. Fazio, their defensive coordinator, has done a really good job, Steve.
Yeah, he may coach this year, and then Schwartz could be available in 27.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
I'm sure Todd Monken's comments didn't help keep Schwartz. I mean, he said when he faced us as a Raven, he was worried about the players like Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, not necessarily Jim Schwartz. It's crazy to say that because Jim Schwartz put these guys in a position to succeed. Yes, they're great athletes. Yes, they're great players. But Jim Schwartz, he put those guys in position on the field that not every defensive coordinator knows how to do that and earn their respect and play hard for them. And that's one thing Jim did right. Monken wants to continue running the wide nine aggressive man-to-man defense. They could stay within the organization for defensive coordinator, like you mentioned, Dave. Safety coach Ephraim Banda or linebacker coach Jason Tarver. But I kind of have a feeling Monken will look elsewhere. By the way, both of those guys reported on NFL Network are getting interviews. So Tarver was a coordinator for the Raiders, and Banda hasn't had that job. So I would say Tarver would be the stronger of the two. But, there's some people are arguing that Banda could be the better candidate. In my eyes, guys, the best, you mentioned him, Dave, the best guy available is Corey Undlin. He's a strong candidate, as you said, the Texans defensive game coordinator. He's a Jim Schwartz disciple, so he knows the defense. He coached with Jim in Philadelphia for 3 years, so that was important. He got to learn a lot from Jim, and I like that he was in the Texans organization, or D'Amico Ryan's defensive-minded guy. What's his face? The guy Vasso. I heard he already backed out of the job, Dave. So not in consideration. So out of non-Brown staff, Corey Undlin is probably the biggest name out there. And
Steve, I think just a quick thought on that. I think that would help endear him to the players too, if they got a Schwartz disciple maybe, and that they were going to keep a lot of the Schwartz scheme, particularly the wide nine, which really benefits that defensive line and our ability to rush the passer. So
there's no doubt it's very important. In Undlin, he got to see it firsthand, and he knows it. And then remember, I mean, coaching with the Texans. I mean, he had Hunter, he had Will Anderson Jr. Singletary's one of the better corners, so he had a great defense. He could come right in here, and he's an older guy. I believe he's in his 50s, almost 60s. So he's been around. I think he's the best candidate. He coached with Todd Monken in Jacksonville back in 2009 and 2010. He coached the Browns actually in the early 2000s. I think it was like 3 or 4, minor role, but I do think Monken will go after him. But in closing, guys, it's a shame. I will miss Schwartz. I hope another guy can run this defense and still have success. We weren't very good back with Joe Woods, and we had some of the same players, guys. So the key is to keep the defensive scheme. Don't try and fix something that isn't broken, guys. But farewell, Jim Schwartz. You will be missed, buddy. I love Jim Schwartz, guys.
Agreed.
All right. Well said, Steve. We will get into our Super Bowl previews part of the podcast. We will get right into that. Yeah, the New England Patriots will take on the Seattle Seahawks. Got a little bit of a rematch here, guys, from back about a decade ago, if I'm not mistaken. About 10 minutes.
All-time great game, by the way. All-time great game.
It was good, but, I got a little thing in the heart with that Steelers game there. The 2009 against, who was that?
Cardinals. And I mean, you were living your best life, Brent, so that we can see why you would have an affinity for 2009.
Thank you for sharing that to the audience. Anyways, all right. All right. So we will get right into it, and we'll start with Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, this is it. Your boy Vrabel, can he get it done, man? Your prediction of New England, it could carry all the way to the end here, buddy. What do you think here? Well, give us a prediction here and a preview of the Patriots and Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, guys. Well, to start out, today's the big day, Super Bowl 60. Can you guys believe that? This is number 60. Hard to believe. At Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, home where the 49ers play. It's a fascinating matchup between two teams that have undergone massive transformations to get back to the biggest stage, guys. Of course, Patriots and Seahawks, like you said, Brent, a rematch of the legendary Super Bowl, the Malcolm Butler interception game is what we call it, right?
Or
they should have been beast mode. They should have
beast
been
mode, Steve. Beast mode. They should have given it to beast mode.
They should have. I can't believe they would throw that pass. And by the way, guys, I like doing some notes at night after work, and they've replayed this game. I could probably tell you, like, play by play. It's been like 1,000 times. You know what I mean? They just keep replaying it, and you see the same result. That's for sure.
Yeah, I believe it, guys. Was that play with Butler? That was a first down, guys.
No, that was third down, Brent. Well, that's why they said that they and Seattle also had a timeout. Just a quick thought on that game, real quick. By the way, the great thing about that Super Bowl is there were a lot of really good subplots to that Super Bowl. You know, Seattle was going for back-to-back. Pete Carroll had actually coached the Patriots right before Belichick got there. Yes. And then Brady trying to checkmate the Legion of Boom defense after it curb stomped Peyton Manning the year before. So there was a lot of different subplots to that game that also made that game interesting, guys.
Dave, refresh my memory because you're Mr. Encyclopedia. You're Mr. Encyclopedia. So that was the second down. They went to beast mode, and he took them to like the first, the 2-yard line, or was something like that. Wasn't it second down? And until third down, they could have went to it again, but they chose to pass. Is that right?
Correct. And I've said it's a little bit overrated that they didn't give him the ball. I said this. My dad was watching the replay of the game the other night, and I said my problem wasn't necessarily they didn't give Beast Mode the ball or that they even threw the ball. The pass pattern was a stupid
that's right.
You're throwing into traffic, guys.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. We agreed it because you know what I keep hearing? It's funny because I wanted to go Beast Mode too, but here's the thing. They did say that New England was ready for the run if they would have did that on third. So the pass isn't bad, but how about an out pass? Not in the middle, right?
How about a fade? How about a jump ball? How about a tight formation and run a little wheel route with the running back out of the backfield? There's about 20 different pass patterns that are better than that one, and that's why I think Bevel and Pete Carroll really went wrong in my view. So,
yeah, good call.
Well, guys, the post-Belichick era has arrived much faster than anyone expected, as we just said. Let's go with the quarterback. Sophomore sensation Drake May has been the story of the postseason, guys. He's the first quarterback in history to beat 3 top 5 defenses in a single playoff run, that being the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos. So he's used to playing. I know he has been playing so hot, guys, but he's faced some of the best. So that's something to watch out for there. Drake May, I think he'll be handing the ball off to Ramondre Stevenson. He's probably their top back, as you know, and he can catch balls out of the backfield too and down the field. I think it'll be interesting to see if rookie Trevion Henderson gets involved. I mean, I like to see him get a few carries in this one, see what he can do. I don't know if they'll do it, but, we shall see.
Steve, you know what, real quick, I think this is a game where McDaniels is really going to get in his bag. You know what I mean? He's really going to I'm really interested to see his game plan offensively.
Oh, yeah, and proof be told, Seattle has the top defense in the league. Yes, it's very true, but you can score against them. Example, L.A. Rams. The Rams scored points on them, so don't think that New England can't do it as well, and Mike Vrabel's a great coach to do that. So, Seattle, they're going to have to watch out for Stephon Diggs, of course. He's their top receiver, and Hunter Henry, their tight end. But, guys, I think Kayshon Boutte could be a difference maker for the Patriots. So watch out for him. What do you guys think there? Did you guys like Boutte today?
Yeah, well, Steve, I do think that the Patriots receivers are going to have to step up and make some plays in this one. I think it could be the Boutte. I think this is also going to be a Stephon Diggs game, Steve. I think he's going to have one of his better games in a while in this one too.
Yeah, he's really going to have to get involved for sure. I mean, he's the best guy on the team, for receivers. So you got to get him the ball. Well, the strategy under Coach Mike Vrabel, the Patriots have relied on a top 10 defense and made high efficiency passing. He's got a 72% completion rate this season. Look for them to try and control the clock and keep Seattle's explosive offense off the field. That should be New England's goal and Mike Vrabel's. Seattle, 16-3, and they enter as the favorites, boasting one of the most balanced rosters in the league. Many people think this is going to be a blowout, guys. I don't think it's going to be, but many people like Seattle. I mean, because they're scoring like crazy. New England has not. But if you look at regular season scores, New England could score points, guys. So I think this could be more points in it than you think. Many were saying, it could be low scoring. I think we got a game, guys. I think it's going to be exciting.
You know what? I think the thing about it is that I think you need to see regular season Drake May. I think you have to see the Drake May that finished second to Matthew Stafford in the MVP voting. Now, this is a tough spot to do it against a tough team and a tough defense to do it against. But yeah, you're gonna have to see closer to the regular season Drake May, Steve. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And don't forget, guys, the last game was at Denver.
Yes.
And it was a terrible game for him to showcase his talents because it was the weather conditions. So I think, is he played up to his peak? No. But I also think that they had the lead, guys, in these games, and they didn't need him to go nuts. So I kind of feel like feelings on it that made it. Yeah, he didn't have to hit the gas, is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, guys, the weather is going to be nice in this one in sunny California, so both teams should be able to do something here. The redemption mark. Let's go with Sam Darnold. He's completed his career turnaround, leading the league's fifth highest scoring offense. Despite his oblique injury early in the playoffs, he's looked elite, like in the NFC Championship game with the win over the Rams. Running back for Seattle, Kenneth Walker III. He's been a touchdown machine this postseason, guys. In the receiving duo of JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and veteran Cooper Kupp, his first year with Seattle is a nightmare for any secondary. Obviously, you got to watch out for JSN. Many people are saying, like, watch out for Cooper Kupp. I mean, I believe, didn't he get an award? I think, wasn't he MVP before? I mean, Kupp could always, get involved in this one too.
Stephen,
right,
I agree. I think an underrated thing about this game is I think that, Darnold is they're going to need an option B or an option C to step up in the passing game in this one. Because I just think that the Patriots are going to give a lot of attention to JSN in this game. And that was one of the underrated things about that championship game is they had a couple guys that were able to step up outside of JSN. Even though JSN had a huge day in the championship game, they had a couple other receivers step up and make plays. So that's going to be a big key in this one for Seattle, in my view.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting. Top cornerback for New England, Christian Gonzalez, will be all over JSN. But also, you see that Seattle runs a lot of motion, and so we'll see. Will Gonzalez always be matched up with JSN? I think New England wants that, but we'll see about that. So the difference maker for Seattle could be, and I've said it before, Mr. Rashid Shaheed. As you know, he can return kicks, guys, but he can catch the ball too. So watch out for him for Seattle as a guy coming out of the blue, a difference maker. Guys, this is defense versus defense. Seattle allowed the fewest points per game in the NFL this year, while New England's defense has allowed only 2 touchdowns the entire postseason. I mean, that's pretty good, guys. I mean, Seattle gave up more than that in the Rams game, right? So maybe this is one, but I do think this may be a game where there could be more scoring than you think, even with just what I just mentioned there.
Hey, Steve, I was watching one of New England's greatest hits, the Carolina-New England Super Bowl, which was the Jake Delhomme Tom Brady shootout. I remember going into that Super Bowl thinking that was 16-13 or 17-14 kind of game, and it ended up being 32-29. And that was the game, by the way, the first game I realized that Brady could be great in the clutch. Because remember, when they beat the Rams, I thought it was more about their defense. And remember, he played awesome in that game. And they had to score points to beat that Carolina team that day. So sometimes you think it's low scoring and you get high scoring. We may get that today.
Yeah, they say some are saying it should be low scoring. I do think we could get high scoring. Like I said, the weather's a factor too. They're not playing in the snow or anything crazy. It's going to be nice. So they might be able to score more. Drake May, I will say this though, he was sacked 15 times in the playoffs, guys. That's a lot of times to get sacked. Seattle's defensive front, led by Leonard Williams, will be hunting him all night. There's no doubt about that. And then you get to Mr. Sam Darnold, turnover trouble, I'll say. He led the league in turnovers during the regular season, guys. If the old Darnold shows up, the one that Brent always talks about, Fraud Island and that kind of thing.
He goes back to the island. We're going to see him go back to the island.
If he turns the ball over, I think Brent would even say he's going back to that island. The Patriots' opportunistic defense will should capitalize, man, if he does that. Darnold has been too perfect this season, guys. Do you guys think this is the final game Darnold will finally throw some picks?
Well, you know what? I could see this is a game where both quarterbacks could have an issue there. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But, he has been careful with the ball in the postseason so far. But you're right, Steve. The regular season, the most turnover-worthy plays for a quarterback, it's there for him. It's going to be interesting to see how the start for both of these quarterbacks in this game, by the way, how they start and in the game plan, Steve. That's going to be interesting to me, too.
That's true. Brent, what do you think? Well, were Donald throw any interceptions today? What's your input?
Yes, he will. And I'm going to talk about this in my little preview. But
okay.
I think he's going to turn into the old Sam Darnold. Now, do I think it'll be ridiculously bad? No, but I think he'll get one or two interceptions. I don't think he'll have 3 or 4 or anything like that. He might even have a fumble. I'm going to tell you on mine. I kind of feel like he. His Super Bowl was this past week against the Rams, and I don't really think he's going to be able to duplicate that again. And but that's just what I think. But Seattle does look better on paper. I'll tell you that right now. They do look better on paper, but I think the luck has ran out for Mr. Darnold. I kind of feel that way. But go ahead.
Yeah, guys, and another thing, this is Mike versus Mike in the Super Bowl. You got Mike Vrabel on one side, and then Seattle's head coach Mike McDonald on the other. Both defensive-minded coaches, both very smart. I do think
well-coached team, Steve. Well coached.
Yeah, they really are. But I do think Mike Vrabel, in the end, will outcoach Mike McDonald. Guys, I think the Patriots will just be too much to handle. Mike Vrabel has his players in the right mindset, and they're on the right part of the field most of the time. And Sam Darnold finally will make some mistakes, I think. I think you're going to see an interception or two. Guys, I have the Patriots winning 28-24.
Okay.
The same score the Patriots had when they last beat Seattle in the Super Bowl. Go Mike Vrabel, go Patriots.
Hey, well said, Steve. We will get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, take us away here in this Patriots and Seahawks Super Bowl matchup.
Well, gentlemen, the time is here as the New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks will do battle on Sunday for the right to host the trophy, the Lombardi Trophy. New England's back in the Super Bowl for the first time since the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era, following the 2018 season. The Patriots advanced to the AFC playoffs with consecutive victories over the Chargers, Texans, and Broncos. They won a snowy, mistake-filled AFC title game in Denver 2 weeks ago. Seattle's back on this stage for the first time since making back-to-back Super Bowl appearances in 2013 and 14. The Seahawks earned a first-round bye in the playoffs, thanks to claiming the number 1 seed in the NFC, then defeated the division rival Niners and Rams in consecutive weeks to claim the conference championship game. By the way, the title game itself was a back-and-forth affair where Sam Darnold slayed a lot of demons and took down the Rams with a 3-touchdown performance. This game itself is a rematch of the Super Bowl over a decade ago where the Pats defeated the Seahawks, that Butler interception that you guys referenced, that stopped the Seahawks from claiming back-to-back Super Bowls. Brent, as I've mentioned many times, that one was a classic. And this is going to be an interesting matchup, but it'll have a long way to go to match up with that thriller. Overall, these teams are well matched and have some of the same strengths. The biggest similarities is they've gotten mostly good quarterback play over the course of the season. I say mostly. Both have strong defenses, and both teams, Steve, are really well coached. By the way, 2 offensive coordinators we like in this one, Steve, in Josh McDaniels and Klint Kubiak.
Yeah, Dave, I would have to say these are 2 of the best in the game. I do like McDaniels because he's been doing it for years. So
Sure.
and under Belichick and everything. So he's probably the top guy. But me and you both agree on this. Clint Kubiak, he's getting that Raiders job.
Yeah.
I wish the Browns would have given him at least a look. I think he's going to be a really tough coach someday. His dad, Gary Kubiak. I mean, you're right, Dave. Kubiak is a solid coach, and he's keeping Darnold from making mistakes recently. So he's a smart coach, Dave. No doubt about it. We got good coordinators in this.
Well, that's Darnold's gotten the good coaching. Our buddy O'Connell last year, and then Clint Kubiak this year.
Yeah.
Interesting stat. Over the last 10 weeks of football, the Patriots defense has allowed an explosive play on 9.6% of snaps, and Seattle's defense is nearly as good at 10%. This is good for first and second in the entire league over that span. So two really good defenses here. That means these defenses are well coached and well disciplined. Let's get to the quarterbacks. They need to be patient, limit mistakes, most importantly. And let's start with Drake May, a quarterback I've been a fan of since he came out of North Carolina in the 2024 draft. It's going to be interesting to see how he attacks the Seattle defense that plays a fair amount of zone coverage. They played zone at the third highest clip in the league. The good news for May and the Pats is he was arguably the best quarterback in the league against zone, checking in first at EPA, expected points added per drop back on those snaps. It'll be interesting to see how May and OC Josh McDaniels attack the zone. This is where Kayshon Boutte and Stephon Diggs, as we had mentioned earlier, are going to need to find the soft spots in the zone and make plays. They've combined for 19 receptions in the postseason so far. It's also going to be interesting to see how much May uses his legs in this one. Through the course of the regular season, no quarterback scrambled more often than May, 63 attempts. In the postseason, he scrambled 9 times over 3 games for 125 yards. The Seattle pass rush could cause him to utilize his legs. Seattle tied with the Rams for 7th in team total sacks this season at 47. May in the postseason has taken 15 sacks and fumbled the ball 6 times. Even with solid efficiency under duress, ball security has been an issue. One matchup to watch in this game is left tackle Will Campbell, who has struggled at times in the postseason, particularly with power rushers. The Pats' offensive line must play their best. Outside the quarterback play, outside of May, that's the key for the Pats, I think, in this one. It'll be interesting to see if McDaniels designs some short, quick throws to get May comfortable. Look for tight end Hunter Henry to be a key target. He has only 6 receptions in the postseason, but he caught 60 balls during the regular season. The screen game and short passes to the running back, Steve, I think are going to be key in this one. Expect McDaniels to maybe utilize Ramondre Stevenson and, maybe Trey Henderson catching the ball out of the backfield, right?
Exactly. I think Stevenson's even better at it, but you can't leave out Henderson. There's no doubt.
Yeah, Stevenson's done a nice job of getting the tough yards in between the tackles in the postseason. Even though he's only averaging 3.8 yards per carry, he's really good in between the tackles, whereas Henderson's more of the perimeter back. The Seattle rush defense ranked 3rd overall against the rush. The combo of Leonard Williams at defensive tackle and middle linebacker Ernest Jones make it very difficult to run the football against this defense. It's going to be interesting to see how much the Pats commit to the run in this one. I do believe Steve will be of the 2 quarterbacks. I think May needs more out of his ground game than Darnold does. I don't know if you disagree with me on that one.
No, I'll agree with you there, and I do think that May's going to have to scramble a lot in this one. He just as you just mentioned, he could lead the team in rushing today because he might have to elude defenders coming at him. So that might mean some positive yards on a run, or he's looking to pass and no one's open. He might just run it down the field. So, watch for him to get some rushing yards himself today, Dave.
Yeah, I agree. May will need to be a good decision maker while limiting turnovers inside and outside the pocket. Just bottom line, it's my evaluation on him in this one. On the other side of the ball, Darnold is coming off his single best game performance against pressure all year in the NFC Championship game. This was a big challenge against, I believe, the best defense he faced so far in the postseason. Going into this game, this is the best defense he will have faced. That was an injured 49ers defense, and I do think that the Rams had some vulnerabilities in the secondary. The Pats are a little bit more man coverage centric than the Seahawks, led by strong cover corner Christian Gonzalez, as Steve mentioned. This will be an interesting challenge for Darnold. He did complete 65.7% of his passes against man coverage this year, according to player profile stat breakdowns. This was something of an Achilles heel for Darnold, was pressure. He sported a 69.4 passer rating under pressure with just 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions during the regular season. But in the playoffs, Darnold has already thrown 4 touchdowns to 0 interceptions against pressure with a 108.6 passer rating. It's going to be interesting to see how the Pats generate a pass rush in this one. I would watch out for defensive end Milton Williams. According to ESPN, the Pats rank 6th in pass rush win rate with Williams on the field and 26th with him off of it. New England secondary will have its hands full with JSN. He was unstoppable in the NFC Championship game, and his explosive play per route of 9.1% has been incredible in the playoffs. He's coming off an incredible 10-reception, 153-yard performance against the Rams in the title game. He's easily the best offensive skill player in this game. I'm curious to see if the Pats apply that old Belichick approach, Steve, where they put a safety over the top and make Darnold go to option B and option C in the passing game. I think that's a big key for Seattle.
Oh yeah, I could see that. And Mike Vrabel is just like that as well. He's definitely be prepared. He's going to have his team prepared, and I could see that. They don't want JSN getting that ball.
Yeah,
I agree with you there, Dave.
Yeah, as mentioned, former Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp had 4 big catches in the NFC title claim, including 1 for a touchdown. I would add A.J. Barner did catch 50 balls at tight end this year. So he could be a key target in third down red zone. Steve mentioned Rashid Shaheed. He's just a speed burner. And special teams, he's big. Remember, he had that big kickoff return against the 49ers. A big key for Seattle and Darnold for the resurgence of this offense has been the ground game. Over the last 5 games of the season, Kenneth Walker Jr. has been really unstoppable, averaging 122 scrimmage yards per game with 6.4 yards per touch, scoring 5 touchdowns. Much like Seattle, the Pats have been strong against the run, ranking 6th overall in yards given up per game. So they've been a fairly strong run defense. The Seattle offensive line has been very underrated. Rookie left guard Gray Zabel has really allowed minimal pressure, and he's been really strong as a run blocker. It's going to be interesting to see. Seattle can get a ground game going this one. Walker is at his best in between the tackles, kind of like Stevenson as well. I'm interested to see the approach of offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak, as we talked about. He does a nice job over the course of the season of mixing run with pass. He'll use the screen game, rollouts, play action to create open receivers and explosive plays. I would also add they do a great job of moving around JSN. Remember, he caught 24 of his 24 passes for 335 yards out of the slot. So watch him in the slot. He's very effective there. Bottom line for Darnold in the Seattle offense is he needs to continue to play error-free football and spread the ball around to multiple targets. The Pats defense will, again, easily be the toughest challenge he's faced in the postseason this far. This will be an interesting chess match on both sides of the ball. I'm really interested to see how these QBs handle these very staunch defenses. Well, just in conclusion, it's been a fun postseason, gentlemen. I'm hoping we end it with a great Super Bowl, especially considering this is the 60th Super Bowl that doesn't feature our Browns, by the way, guys. I don't know if we need a chuckle there, by the way, or a moan, Steve, or what you guys want to do on that one. It'll be an interesting, it's been an interesting path for both teams to get here. The Pats are a team that's been grown over the course of the season. Credit Steve Retzer for seeing this growth before we did. I know people have picked on the schedule over the 17-game regular season. I believe only 3 opponents they played finished with a winning record this season. So I would add, people have picked on their schedule. I do believe they've shown some real toughness and maturity in the playoffs. This is a reflection of Retzer family friend, Mike Vrabel. This will be their toughest challenge by far. I believe we must see the regular season Drake May in this one, as I mentioned earlier. He can't be the quarterback we've seen in the postseason. It'll be interesting to see how much help he gets from his supporting cast, particularly the O-line and wide receivers. The key will be pass pro. They'll also need a little bit of a run game, as I mentioned earlier. On the opposite side, I would say the Pats D, by the way, also will be a major reason that they got in this game. They need to generate some pressure on Darnold, mix up coverages. I think that's going to be a key for them to get a turnover or 2 in this one. I did want to point that out. The Seahawks come into this game peaking. They have a quarterback playing his best football, a great defense, a resurgent running game, and one of the best receivers in the game. The defense continues to stuff the run and keep New England off schedule. I think they're going to be fine. I'm really interested to see how the game plan of McDaniels is against the Seattle defense. Darnold needs to keep on keeping on. He needs to be patient against this defense. He needs to spread the ball around. I'm really interested to see if JSN is a big factor in this one. Remember, option B, option C in the passing game, I think will be key for Seattle. Overall, I think this will be a good one for a while. The Pats have a legit chance. The defense has been playing really well, and May is capable. The Seahawks are just more well-rounded team here, guys. The defense will cause May too many issues. Darnold has a stronger offensive supporting cast. The best skilled player on the field is JSN, and I believe they have the better offensive line. I'm going Seattle 24-17. But, Brent, as usual, my team isn't in it, so let's at least have a good game here, gents.
Well said, Dave. All right, I'm going to get into my Super Bowl preview here between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, and we'll get right started. Levi Stadium is set for a massive showdown today as the Seahawks bring their league-best scoring defense into Santa Clara to face a battle-tested New England Patriots squad. While the analysts are fawning over Seattle's rankings, the real story is whether the clock is about to strike midnight on Sam Darnold. His career best performance against the Rams in the NFC Championship had all the makings of a one-and-done peak. His own personal Super Bowl, and now he has to replicate that magic against Mike Vrabel defense designed to induce nightmares. While Seattle may have the statistical edge on paper, they're facing a New England team that simply refuses to blink in the fourth quarter. Expect the Seahawks lock to run dry today, and the Patriots grind out a win 23-20 over the Seahawks. Guys, I think everybody and their brother is picking Seattle, so you got to go the opposite. This is one of those trap games. I just got to – now, if it was a different quarterback, like I think if it was the Rams quarterback Stafford going against the Pats, I think it'd be a different story. Go ahead.
Brett, could you see both quarterbacks making turnovers here in this game? Because I do. I mean, I could see May having a fumble or an interception too. I actually was going to get to that.
Sure. I'm more worried about Drake May having a fumble than Sam Darnold throwing an interception.
Right.
If there's going to be some mistakes in this game, guys.
Well, to be fair here, Steve, he got lucky in the Houston game because his offensive line recovered 2 of his 4 fumbles, or that thing could have been real worse.
Yeah.
So that's the point that needs to be made here.
Now, here's my thinking behind the Pats. Okay, so there's some more to be said here about this. One is that there's a 2-week delay from the last game, the championship round. That is going to favor the Pats. Seahawks were rolling. I don't know if you guys remember that team called Ohio State. Remember what happened to them? They had that huge layoff. Huge. Yeah. Okay. And I just don't think – I think that hurt the Buckeyes, and I kind of feel like this is – so I feel like there's a little bit of a layoff. You know, you got the Super Bowl bugaboo. You know, everybody's going out to dinner too much. They're drinking too much. Everyone's – they're relaxing too much. And I don't know. I kind of feel like the Seahawks kind of had to play last week to beat the Pats. Because
I agree with you there, Brent. It seems like they had their Super Bowl already. New England's coming in ready to play. Will be prepared by Mike Vrabel. Seattle, they beat the Rams. It's like, guys, we felt like we won our own little Super Bowl. So, I think that's going to be tough, even though Seattle's heavy favorite.
I just wonder if the Patriots offense – without, let's say, multiple turnovers, can get to 20-plus points. Because I think they're going to have to get to 20-plus points to win this. It's not going to be 10-7 like we saw in
No.
You're not going to win this game 10-7. The snow is gone, so you're not going to see that. I don't know if they can get to 20 points against what I think is one of the 2 or 3 best defenses in the NFL without turnovers or special teams. That's where I come down on this.
You got definitely more of a dry conditions here today in Frisco. So I feel like that does favor the scoring a little bit. I do, but I just don't think I don't know. I feel like that layoff is big, guys. I I remember watching that Buckeyes, and I think they even said that that's right, because Ohio State had a bye. Ohio State had that bye, guys. It's not good.
Could I, being a diehard Buckeye fan and watching every game this year, maybe Indiana had already exposed Ohio State in the Big Ten title game
I
And
know.
Miami took advantage of that. So it's a little bit of an apples to a bowling ball comparison, Brent. I got to say.
I get it, but in the same token, Steve, come on, we've seen this before. These layoffs don't help, do they, buddy? Remember the Colts? Good.
Yeah, no, it doesn't help your case, Brent. That's for sure.
I mean, I've seen it. Listen, Dave, I've seen it help teams, but more often than not, it hurts. I've seen it hurt teams more than help. I can think. Oh, look how it helped the Giants with Eli Manning. They rolled right into the playoffs on a wild card, and boom, they're taking it all the way. So I don't know. I just feel that I think the Seahawks were hot. They were, and I do think Super Bowl. Don't you agree, Steve? Super Bowl is weird because it's got that media week, Radio Row, and it's relaxed. It's relaxed. You kind of get off your game a little bit. It's like you're thinking of a hot girl. You got a hot girl, and all you know is about the hot girl. That's Super Bowl.
Is everyone surprised to hear Brent Keaton equate this out to the dating game? I'm not, but
I know. You know, maybe bring it in.
I know. Steve, what do you think though? Don't you think people get distracted during the Super Bowl?
They can, Brent. They can. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes top offenses like Seattle don't fare as well in a Super Bowl game either. So, that's what I got to say there.
All right, we will get to the last segment here. It's our bold predictions. Guys, take us away, and we will turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield.
yes.
For the bold prediction. Dave, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to disagree with you, Brent. I got to get a bold prediction eventually right here someday. This is the last opportunity, my friend. The Sam Darnold revival tour ends on a high note. Give me Sam Darnold in a solid performance. I'm going to go 250 with 2 touchdown passes and getting Super Bowl MVP. I'm not guaranteeing no turnovers. He's had issues the entire season. I do think both quarterbacks have a turnover in this one. I was thinking about picking JSN, but got burned earlier in the postseason on the bold P. Not to mention, as I mentioned in my preview, I'm expecting the Pats defense to give him extra attention. My view is that Darnold overcomes, let's say, an early interception and gets better from the second quarter on, finishing with a very solid, but not all-time great performance. Again, 250, 2 touchdown passes. He makes the plays when it matters most, and it helps Seattle gets their revenge against the Patriots. Brent, Darnold's Day Part 2 ends with a Super Bowl trophy and an MVP.
Wow. Okay. Well said, Dave. We will go to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, you got a bold prediction for us?
I sure do, guys. And I'm just going quite the opposite of Dave.
Yes.
My bold prediction is that Drake May will wake up and throw 3 touchdown passes and lead the Patriots to a Super Bowl win and upset the top defense Seattle Seahawks. He's going to win the MVP trophy and become the youngest quarterback to win the Super Bowl at age 23. He will show the world why he should have won the MVP award, guys.
Yeah, did you think he got robbed over Stafford? I thought Stafford did deserve the award. I mean, the numbers were a little bit better for Stafford this year, Steve.
Yeah, Stafford deserved the award because of the numbers. But now to look at the nitty gritty, though, now look who's in the Super Bowl, though. So
That's
I think
true.
you had to give it to Stafford, but May has quite an argument as well.
And don't forget, guys, May's the better story. That comes into play who gets the MVP, not always who wins. Well, LeBron James comes to mind all the times he didn't get MVP, but keep going.
Well, let me say this real quick. Stafford has a far better, stronger supporting cast. Both have good coaching. McVay running that Rams offense, McDaniels running the Patriots offense. But I would say the supporting cast for Stafford is clearly better because that Adams-Puka combination is arguably the best 1-2 punch in football. Plus, I think the Rams' offensive line is a little bit better than the Patriots too. So, yeah, I do think you can also maybe grade May a little bit on a curve considering his supporting cast isn't as strong as Matt Stafford's. So, I would add that.
Okay. All right, guys. We got our bold predictions, and we're ready, and we got to get in some final thoughts, right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll go around, start with Dave. I got some final thoughts about the kind of Super Bowl and the outlook and all that. So we'll start with Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us some final thoughts.
Well, yeah, always watching a Super Bowl between two teams I could probably care less about. But when we do that, unless unless we have a financial interest, all we hope for is what we hope for, which is a really good and exciting football game, and that's what I'm hoping for today. Let it come down to the fourth quarter, maybe a final drive. I do have this game as a one possession game, but I think in the end, I think Seattle is just the better all around football team. But bottom line, let's have a day. Let's have some good football. Let's end what I think has been an exciting postseason on a high note and a really good Super Bowl game, Steve.
Oh, absolutely, guys. I'm excited for this game as well. Two of the best, this season, obviously. I'm excited for Mike Vrabel. Guys, don't forget, he's been here before as a player. He's won as a player. And now, if he can get this victory over Seattle in the Super Bowl, I think it'd be the first player to win a Super Bowl as a player and win as a head coach. And Drake May would be the youngest quarterback at 23 years old. So obviously I'm cheering on the Patriots. I think that's some pretty cool stuff right there, guys. Some good stats there.
Yeah. I was just going to say, though, guys, before we wrap it up about the AFC this year, what an outlier of a year. It is. You really don't have that dominant Kansas City Chief team this year.
Sure.
Even though I got New England winning, Seattle does look like a Kansas City Chief team. They look dominant in a way. They do. They just do. They look better on paper. This is kind of a weird year because you had the Denver Broncos. They had, they did good, and then the quarterback has the injury, and then this Patriots team. Here's the deal on them, guys. Even though I got them winning, no, they had an easy schedule. They cupcaked it all year, and they didn't really.
Brett, can I say I don't think you're a believer really in either one of these football teams, from what it sounds like.
No, but
I think I sold them, Dave.
No, I
sold them on the Patriots.
It's the Super Bowl, and I feel the Super Bowl is a different kind of game. Meaning, there's some nervousness in the Super Bowl. It's not always coming in the best team wins. There's some nervousness. So that's why all I'm saying is, we don't have that smoking gun. We don't have a Rams team. We don't have that Chiefs with Mahomes. We don't have the Burrow. We don't have the oomph. You know what I mean?
Well, the AFC, just real quick, we ranked the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and 3 of the 4 best quarterbacks we had before the season started in the NFL, Burrow, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson, didn't make the playoffs this year.
Sure.
And then we guys, we talked about it in a lot of our game picks this week, game picks this year, because I know we picked Kansas City in some of our games of the week. Steve had Kansas City winning the Super Bowl in his preseason preview. But we may have seen the decline of the Kansas City dynasty here a little bit too, with their great run for,
there's a new dynasty starting, Dave. As you say, today's the first.
Maybe.
We'll see. Dynasty in New England.
This is just an outlier. Maybe it's an outlier entire. I just think the AFC this year, because think about it. The NFC did have some other teams too, not just the Super Bowl contender here. The NFC was solid this year, guys. AFC, not the same juice like it used to be. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Brian, I think a lot of that had to do with the decline of the Chiefs too.
Sure,
because they've been the standard in the AFC.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, boys, this has all been good, guys. Audience, guys, have a great Super Bowl. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Be with the family. Be with some friends. You guys have a good one. Take care.